Hello, welcome again. Thank you so much for being around. We've already started with minerals, in which case we have dealt with minerals like phosphorus, potassium. We actually started with calcium, and that's because they are important in the diet of animals and humans. Now, we today starts another one, sodium. Sodium is so crucial. We can't talk so much, so we can't exhaust it really, but we'll just start from and deal with it for the length of video and also serve the necessary one, the salient points. Now, we normally will take the pattern, the historical perspective to every mineral, and then we'll look at the sources, and then we'll look at the function. Then we'll also look at the absorption of the minerals and the metabolism, the deficiency symptoms, and we now wrap it up. In this case, since we're talking about sodium, to be the historical perspective, dietary sodium, and the function of sodium, and this. Now, you may have noticed that we have Na. Na is referring to the Latin name of it. Just like we talked about potassium, we talked about kalium, and then the modern Latin. In sodium, we have it to be natrium, Na. Written properly, natrium. The modern Latin name. So having this. Now this symbol with the plus shows that chemically it has lost one electron. So chemically it is in the ionic form, sodium is written as Na plus or Na1 plus, Na1 plus. But we don't need to do this because we're not looking into the chemistry part of it. We're just going to look at the nutritional aspect of sodium. Now, another part of it is that it represented this is not it. So we're going to this sodium. I made a mistake on that, please. Then 35. Sorry, please. 35. Now, atomic weight of 35. Pardon me for that. It was a mistake. I'm human. So, historical sodium. Now, historical perspective, sodium has been vital in over the centuries. As a matter of fact, as much as human can go back in memory lane, sodium has been important in human civilization in the form of salt. And that's no going far. The common salt. Yes, the common salt you use in cooking. It's usually made of, it is actually comprising of sodium and chlorine, in which case combining is sodium chloride. Sodium and chlorine is written chemically as sodium chloride. Sodium chloride. In which case both joined, sodium plus and chlorine minus to form sodium chloride. Now this is what we have. Now the ancient society actually find it to be precious because it's useful for preservation of meat and meat, fish, and some other things. Now when you spray salt on it, it's usually antibacterial, fights bacteria and prevents it. Bacteria can't stay. How is the word not coming? Bacteria can survive on salt because salt tend to extract liquid out of them, so they are going to actually fall. The components of it, the organelles of bacteria will fall. So spoilage bacteria can stand on substance that have a lot of salt on it. So though they did not know the chemistry of it, they know it by using it. Now, salt is used as a preservative and also seasoning. They also found out that when they applied salt, the taste of their food was better. So salt have been used by the ancients to improve the taste of their food and also to preserve the food. Now, so good was salt and so important that they actually refer to it as a white gold. Now, you may have heard of talking about black gold referring to crude oil, but salt in the ancients have been discovered even before, long before crude oil. It was called white gold. Now, it will be interesting to know that the salt that you know to be much in abundance was somewhat a bit scarce, I mean in terms of sodium. Now let's go. It influenced trade routes. So important was the initial trade routes were influenced by salt, by sodium, and influenced trade routes, influenced wars, and even the word salary, monthly salary. People looked at it. It was got from the word sal, which was also another Latin word referring to in English as salt. So it's just like when people were expecting their salary, okay, expecting my salt. So something like that. So the term also, when you say something is worth its salt, meaning something is worth it. That means that thing is important. It is also to put allusion, to put importance on salt. Salt, very important. Now when we get to the functions of salt, we're going to see how important this is. We're going to look at it. Today we're still looking at the historical perspective. Salt, so important. The functions are very, very much. You may not be able to exhaust it because of the time. And I must dare say that your own cultural or socio-cultural activities will find out, they will even list some other aspects of importance of salt. But let's still stay dwell here. So important was it. See the word salt, and then though it was so precious that in the ancient time it was scarce. In this our time we'll find it easily. Now in the dietary today, dietary sodium is recognized in its importance and is carefully regulated. If not regulated and eaten so much because it's in abundance, it can lead to health conditions. One of it is hypertension. Sodium particularly should be considered. People who are hypertensive are advised not to consume much of salt. As a matter of fact, if they can, eat food that has little or no salt in it. Now, sodium is so important. Now you notice that I'm talking salt, sodium, is because you can't talk about sodium, which is what we're considering, without looking at it from the angle of salt. So it's difficult to separate sodium from salt. So that's just it. Then we also now see that 1/3 of the salt in the body, the sodium in the body, is in the bones, the skeleton. The other 2/3 is in the body fluid. Now that brings us to what we talked about when we talked about the previous video, phosphorus. In phosphorus, we had it in intracellular, as an intracellular fluid in the muscle cells. But this time, for sodium, we have them in the extracellular, that means outside the cells, body fluid. Now, both are actually important in contraction of muscles and regulation of blood pH and the others. I want you to stay tuned to the next class where we're going to be dealing with the sources of sodium. Please stay tuned in the next class. For the sake of the length of the video, we'll draw the curtain now. Please let's meet again in the next class. If you gain value, please share, subscribe, follow. Thank you. Let's meet again.